Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Real quick, thank you to my newest patron supporter, Harry. Thank you. So getting right into it, Tesla up about 4% on the day so far. It did push about $680 earlier in the day. Why, you ask? I don't know. But honestly, it could be a number of reasons. Maybe Wall Street waking up to Tesla's Q2. But ultimately, I think we always have to remember there's two aspects of trading. There's the fundamental, the macro, the news, the financials, and then there's the technical. There's millions, if not billions of dollars traded every single day in Tesla, where people are just looking at technical indicators, support and resistance lines, moving averages, etc. So that is a whole nother aspect that a lot of the retail market isn't following if they're not in the day trading space. So we just need to remember there are always two things. So who really knows, one day at a time? Often it's a myriad of factors, but who really cares? Solid days so far. So yesterday we got into the NABU, the group behind these Giga Berlin protests, the environmental group. So we think Elon actually chimed in saying these guys are either shady, nuts, or both. I mean, seriously, there's a long list of companies to pick on before Tesla, of which I completely agree. And yesterday we also talked about how that NABU group is kind of, to some degree, in bed with Volkswagen, the company that was involved with Dieselgate. Once again, if you haven't seen that, watch the Netflix documentary on that. It's absurdly appalling, and this environmental group is, kind of working closely with Volkswagen, but now they're picking on Tesla. It just absolutely doesn't make any sense to me. Of course, there's always two sides to every story, but Elon seems to be on our side. So this Tesla patent is making its circles today. Tesla's aluminum alloys patent hints at ultra-tough EVs that are cheaper to produce. The patent is titled Die-Cast Aluminum Alloys for Structural Components. Now, if you want to learn more about this topic in Tesla's Material Science division, one of the small startups under the larger Tesla umbrella, I did a deep dive a few months back. Video is linked above if you want to check that out. But a quick shout out to Joe, because this really is a good summary of the patent. The breakthrough is the ability to use a cast piece without heat treatment. Heat treatment is slow, expensive, and causes parts to bend in multiple directions, like a flat potato slice taking on a potato chip shape when fried. Being able to cast body-sized pieces and use them directly must save tremendous amounts in labor and money. So I will also link the patent below if you want to dive in a little bit further. Elon tweeted last night, Tesla AI Day is going to be August 19th, so just under 1 month from today. Now, of course, this is subject to change, but being that it's only 3 weeks away, hopefully they can keep that day. And I think a lot of this will be focused on Tesla Dojo, but we also need to remember that the main strive of this event, the main goal, is convincing the best AI talent to join Tesla. That is the sole goal. I actually did a deep dive on Tesla AI Day, same thing, a few weeks or maybe months ago, and that video is linked above. It might be a good primer for you to learn some of the terminology with regard to Dojo and what Tesla is doing in the AI division. So that's linked above if you want to check it out. And Emulsified on Reddit shared some new Tesla updates via the latest software release, and he shared the notes. So running through real quick, we get Disney Plus in theater mode. We get a new car wash mode. Mirror auto dim. I know a lot of people were waiting for that. We get some dash cam improvements and some local recording. We get new range displays. You can remain connected to Wi-Fi in drive mode, and there is some new language support. So let's highlight car wash mode. It closes all windows, locks the charge port, and disables windshield wipers, Sentry mode, walk away door locks, and parking sensor chimes. For automatic car washes with conveyor belts, the free roll option shifts to neutral and prevents the parking brake from automatically applying if you leave. Now, I personally probably wouldn't be taking my Tesla through a drive-through car wash. I think more often than not, if I had the time, I'd like to wash it myself properly just to avoid any scratches, anything like that. But hey, it's a nice feature to have. And with regard to the mirror auto dim, you can now enable or disable this feature. I think a lot of people were wanting this to work a little bit better, in terms of when you are in reverse going forward, what happens with the dimming of the lights on the mirrors. So, when you're back up, you can see things like that. But at least now you have a little bit more autonomy in terms of control of that feature. And dash cam improvements, this is another big one. It'll automatically save clips whenever your vehicle detects the occurrence of a safety event, like an accident or airbag deployment. Recordings captured are stored locally and never transmitted to Tesla. And this user added, dash cam saving locally during a crash is a big improvement. I know some people didn't have clips saved to their external drive drive during accidents. And there's a little confusion. Are you sure this means it will save locally rather than auto-save to the USB when detecting a crash, like it does when hitting the horn? And someone else thinks it'll work exactly like the horn, it'll still end up on the USB stick. So if you guys have any insight as to how this works right now and what you think this update might mean, definitely let us know below. And with the range display, now you can toggle between the miles remaining and the percent. Still, I think a lot of people want both to be displayed, the miles and the percentage, but at least now you have the toggle option. And now you can actually remain connected to Wi-Fi in drive mode. So if you have a hotspot on your phone or something like that, you can stay connected to Wi-Fi while driving, which is a very nice feature and brings up a lot of questions about the premium connectivity subscription, if you will still need that, what you will need it for, and what you can now operate without maybe having that if you do have this Wi-Fi in drive using like a hotspot situation. So once again, if you have any insight, let us know below. Dave Lee did some calculating on Tesla's Bitcoin holdings, and Elon replied saying very close. So Tesla does hold close to 42,069 Bitcoin, which, doing the math, is close to around $1.47 billion worth of Bitcoin. CATL unveiled its sodium-ion battery earlier today. It's been talked about for a while now, but they just, released a little bit more detail, along with a solution that could integrate the cells with lithium-ion batteries in a single pack. The sodium-ion cells are a more cost-effective option. But we need to pump the regenerative brakes a bit. CATL said it will set up a supply chain for the new cells in 2023. The cells don't, however, contain lithium, cobalt, or nickel. So CATL's R&D division said they have reached an energy density of 160 watt-hours per kilogram and should exceed 200 watt-hours per kilogram in the coming years as they continue to experiment. And this clip does a great job of giving you the high level everything you need to know about these sodium-ion batteries.
What's so special about the sodium ion? What are the pros and cons?
The best thing about sodium-ion batteries is their low theoretical cost, which should be 100 times less than lithium batteries. This is because sodium is the 6th most frequent element in the Earth's crust. The supply is huge. In terms of price, sodium is far below lithium with around 100 times differences. In addition, the charging speed of sodium-ion batteries should also be multiple times quicker than that of lithium batteries. On the negative side, in fact, the concept of sodium-ion battery has already been promoted since the 1970s, and it was once competing with the lithium battery side by side. There were several unsolved technological issues at that time. Firstly, the sodium ion tend to stick with the anode side during discharge, meaning that it will be a minus for recharging cycle. Secondly, by nature, sodium is larger in size, and therefore less energy can be stored for the same weight. Meanwhile, the first issue has been solved with a technological breakthrough, and the industry players, including CATL, are trying to push sodium-ion batteries to the commercializations.
In a quick note here, Elon said he will do the Tesla shareholder meeting in a posh British accent. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And Tesla Evangelist shared some news today. Tesla Singapore, first deliveries are happening today. It's not his, he is still waiting for his. And I've been talking about the shift to LFP batteries, and Yahoo today did an article on it and Tesla's bet on the LFP industry. So these battery cells are attractive because they're not dependent on ultra scarce and price volatile raw materials like cobalt and nickel. The LFP batteries are much cheaper. But here's some interesting information. LFP is pretty much only produced in China right now, according to Benchmark Mineral Intelligence, one of the leading research firms. China's dominance in LFP battery production relates to a series of key LFP patents, which are managed by a consortium of universities and research institutions. The consortium came to an agreement with Chinese battery makers a decade ago under which the manufacturers would not be charged a licensing fee, providing that the LFP batteries were used only in Chinese markets. Okay, but now these LFP patents are due to expire in 2022, and all of the planned battery factories right now in Europe and North America, many of which are joint ventures, are going to be focused on nickel-based chemistries. There is an enormous unmet need for locally manufactured LFP batteries here in North America. And with these LFP batteries, outside of lithium, it's iron and phosphoric acid, two cheap materials already made in the US in large quantities. So just another reason to watch this LFP transition, because a lot of the LFP market is being monopolized currently in China, and there are actually seemingly some patents that are protecting that market, but those will be expiring sometime next year. So we'll see what type of new LFP production can make its way to the North American market. That would be a good thing. And I just had to share it. Today, a grand jury indicted Trevor Milton, the founder of Nikola, on 3 counts of fraud. So Trevor's day in the sun has ended. I think it ended a while ago, to be honest, but things are definitely heating up. As Trevor lied about nearly all aspects of the business, the grand jury charged him with 2 counts of securities fraud and wire fraud, and the SEC is asking the US District Court to permanently bar Trevor from acting as an officer at a company that issues securities, to disgorge all ill-gotten gains and pay a fine. As we know, Trevor was lying and scamming the retail investors using that reverse merger, the SPAC deal, to generate a bunch of hype, and basically did everything he could to pump the stock price and, ultimately profit from it. And Trevor was taken into custody earlier in the day in Manhattan and will appear in court later in the afternoon. So you hate to see this type of thing. I'm sure some of you are cheering because, yes, you reap what you sow. I totally understand it, but Trevor has a family and stuff too. So I'm not a fan of cheering at someone else's demise, but at the same time, I am a fan of justice. So, hey, it is what it is. But that's all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. A major thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon, and I hope you guys have a great day.